Okay, can you see the context now?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
so I have two screens up. So universities have R&D capacity for social innovations, no, for nutrition, for inclusive growth, for business development. So we thought that we can tap that capacity of universities, no, for financial inclusion and fintech and technology and software development. No? So universities have so much capacity that is untapped. No? And reaching last mile clients is a challenge, especially in an archipelago like the Philippines with so many islands. So they're hard to reach market segments. And students and professionals and academics, especially now with the pandemic, we're now more accustomed to collaborating online. So it's far easier to create a platform to bring together this brain power these days. Related projects, we have run similar projects with Johns Hopkins University and DSWD, where we got professionals to do innovation work through courses delivered um, through universities. No? So the top photo here, we were able to train 1,000 social workers from 1,000 municipalities through a network of 11 universities. Um, and then in the bottom picture here, we participated in a joint offering with Johns Hopkins University and the Asian Institute of Management to teach mid-career professionals on health communication. So this approach of developing curricula and offering other offerings and then delivering them through local universities is something that we recognize as very promising and scalable. So the Inclusive Growth School aims to train entrepreneurs and policymakers, incubate inclusive businesses and technologies and startups, and then facilitate the organization of industry or sectoral ecosystem platforms. So for this afternoon, we're thinking there's a platform of financial inclusion, and then there's also a platform of youth development and entrepreneurship, and there are intersections in those themes. Here we have an example of that intersection, sort of. No? In the picture here, I was coaching the mayor of Anilao, Iloilo, and she was struggling with teenage pregnancy. That was her problem. Their municipality was the poorest performing municipality in terms of teenage pregnancy. They had the highest in their province. So I told her, okay, why don't you work with local university students? And that's what she did. So here we have a university student. Actually, they're a team, no? Nursing students doing a community nursing rotation. And then they were tapped by the mayor to work on teenage pregnancy. And now this team is presenting their findings to the municipal health uh, committee. In this photo, the problem was childhood malnutrition, and it was the senior high school students and their principals who responded. And the students are now presenting their findings to the mayor, the guy up front in the black jacket, and the municipal health officer and the local university dean. So the idea for the inclusive growth programs is to provide a space operating at the intersection of universities and university academic work, the LGU, which is this red circle, and then the community, so that students can do action research that advances the LGU programs, the municipal programs. It improves outcomes at the community level, and at the same time the students earn credit, whether it's an internship or a term paper or their thesis. No? So the student achieves multiple outcomes from the really relevant inclusive growth uh, projects, academic projects. So what's in it for students? It makes for a really exciting semester, no? Because they learn from their coursework, but at the same time they realize that when the concepts are grounded in field realities, then it becomes a very immersive and complex learning experience. No? And then they realize that all the different disciplines come together when they try to solve a real world problem, such as inclusion. No? For local government units, what's in it for them, they get to tap extra brain power of the interns, no? And then the interns bring in fresh ideas, a fresh take to the problems that maybe they have been tackling for too many years, that they don't have any fresh perspectives anymore. And then for college instructors, it makes for a more grounded integration of the learning experiences of the students, no? So that they're not just memorizing answers from the textbook, but they see it as uh, reality on the ground, and they see themselves as protagonists in solving local problems. Over time, we imagine that the Inclusive Growth School and the Financial Inclusion Lab will be hosted in multiple universities across the country. And then they just get online, they view videos like this, no? So that they can go on a deep dive quickly, and then the local universities become local hubs, such that they become go-to think tanks of the regional director of BSP, Bangko Sentral of the Philippines, or the mayor or the governor, on issues of financial inclusion, youth development, and inclusive growth. Yeah. Civic has been doing something similar to this in adjacent spaces. In the photo here, it's a signing ceremony. It's a university consortium that we built around the drug rehab problem. Yeah. So that's it. No? That's a brief overview of the Inclusive Growth School and also the Financial Inclusion Lab, which would be the narrower portfolio for the financial inclusion space.